Welcome to the United podcast. It's Wednesday night, and Tom, thank you for joining us. I will apologize. We are a little bit late. It is my fault, but it's always my fault. So, just bear with us. You know I'm like this. Tom, how's your Wednesday been?
Decent Wednesday, decent enough. Middle of the week, obviously a little bit hard. Obviously, waiting for Ralf to be announced, and he is announced. Then it doesn't really matter that he's announced because we have to wait another week for him to be able to actually work in England. So, like I said the other day, it might be Michael Carrick's at the wheel until Christmas. That's how it definitely is feeling.
I gotta say, I really missed an opportunity here. When we started the video late, I should have just said like a work permit. We're just waiting on the work permit to come through. Yeah, really missed an opportunity there. But we are here to talk about Arsenal. Now, Tom, most times or in previous years, this would be considered a big game on the calendar. Is it still a big game for you? Because I tell you, for me, it's still massive. You can talk about where the two clubs are. It's obviously not prime Manchester United and prime Arsenal. It's not Arsene Wenger versus Sir Alex Ferguson, but it's still a massive game, and it still puts the butterflies in your stomach, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like I was saying the other day or yesterday. It almost feels like okay, we've got these big games: Manchester Derby, Liverpool's big. If we're in a title race, we've got these title deciders. Not that we've been in those, but you can imagine if we're in a title decider with Chelsea or something, it'd be a huge match. But there is something about it, and it's the way we support, especially maybe on the other side of the world, we're so far away from the football club. We live and breathe it through social media and sort of platforms like this. And Arsenal, obviously, the two biggest fan bases online in regards to social media, Man United and Arsenal. So there's almost more nerves. Okay, we've got a sort of more heated rivalry with Liverpool, a more heated rivalry with clubs like Leeds, even Manchester City to an extent, but something with Arsenal, there's just the nerves because you don't want to have to deal with their fans. Because I think, do you know many Chelsea fans? Not really. Do you know any City fans? Of course not. Do you know any Leeds fans? No, you don't. You know a lot of Arsenal fans, and you don't want to have to deal with the sort of ramifications if you do happen to lose. So while it isn't the game that it was, there is something about it that just the nerves do kick in.
Absolutely. And if you are keen for Manchester United versus Arsenal, if you think Manchester United will win the game, like the video. And if there is anyone here who doesn't think United's going to win, you're watching the wrong content. But Tom, I do have to ask you about Arsenal because obviously this conversation will dominate Manchester United. There's a lot of conjecture around Ralf Rangnick. How much influence does he have on the starting lineup? Does Carrick is it actually going to be Carrick's lineup versus Ralph's lineup? So we will get into all of that. But I will want to ask you about Arsenal. So their form guide has been inconsistent, but in saying that, as we currently stand here, they're in the top four. After a patchy start to the season, they're definitely up and running. Um, what do you make of them? Because I watch Arsenal and sometimes I'm laughing at them. Sometimes they're losing 5-0 to Liverpool, but other times they're brilliant. They beat Tottenham. They can get a good result. And they've put, if I'm being honest, looking at their form guide, I've got it in front of me here. It's fairly positive. So what do you make of Arsenal?
Just have a feeling they're in the middle of what the two extremes have been this season. Those first three games where they lost, I think they lost 3 games on the bounce, didn't score a goal type thing. And they were talking relegation battle. Obviously, that was tongue in cheek, but we're talking about them having a sort of a disaster of a season. That was never really going to happen. Then they've had that sort of a huge run of sort of very favourable fixtures. Maybe I think the two tricky games they had in there was Tottenham, which they always win every year anyway. But the only other tricky game was Leicester City, which they won quite comfortably. Other than that, they've had pretty favourable fixtures, so which they won all those. I think it's somewhere in the middle ground. Okay, they weren't as bad as when they started. I don't think they're as good as they are now. In terms of, I think they will sort of drop a little bit into where I think everyone sort of did have them predicted just at the start of the season in that 6th, 7th, 8th position. I think that's where their performances are. I've watched them because Arsenal are one of those teams that you always seem to watch because there's always a storyline around them. And even in the games they've been winning, okay, you can say they deserve to win them, but they haven't been sort of pulling up any trees or impressive. Now, that's not to say Man United have been impressing anyone. Of course, they haven't. But Arsenal, I think, are what they are. They're in good form. United are in bad form. I think ultimately that's going to turn around at some stage, hopefully Friday.
Yeah, and it is a massive game. And sorry, I will correct a statement I made. So Arsenal sit 5th, but in terms of the form guide, they are 4th in the league. So if you're talking about Manchester City, Chelsea, and Liverpool being the top 3 form sides in the competition, Liverpool are 4th. So, Arsenal are 4th. One more point on Arsenal before I move onto the United side of things. Is there a player in their side that has a fear factor about them, or that you think Manchester United do need to be weary of, or can really hurt our defense? Is there that one player in that side, or do you think it's more of a just as a collective? while they're not really a side that you'd call superstars, just as a unit, they are quite functional. Which way do you sit when it comes to Arsenal?
Well, I think when you picture an Arsenal team, when you picture if they're going to win a game, and maybe it doesn't always pan out like this, but you do picture Aubameyang. He's someone who can pop up with a goal type thing. He can hurt you in behind. But he's a player, even when he was firing him for Dortmund, when he moved to Arsenal, I thought, yeah, he's a very good player, but nothing that sort of really scares me type thing. Probably the one player, and look, in saying that, I said that about Mo Salah, then he goes and scores a hat-trick. So prepare yourself for an Aubameyang masterclass type thing. Fingers crossed not, but he's not someone that strikes fear into me. Probably the one player I'd be most concerned with, and it's a little bit of a weird one, probably Ramsdale, because he's in obviously very good form. And you think, well, if we don't create too many chances, if we do put it in the top corner, the evidence that we have this season, he's very likely to pull it out of the top corner. So obviously you're never going to be scared about a goalkeeper, but obviously the strikers will have to have their shooting boots on, because he's, look, I'm not putting him up there as one of the best keepers in the league. I don't think that is. I think he's a sort of almost a signal or a sign of what Arsenal are doing at the moment. I think he's in very good form. Hopefully Ronaldo can put one through his legs.
Will be interesting. Yeah, look, I do agree with you. I think Aubameyang clearly is the star of that team, and he does score goals. So it will be interesting to see how do United contain him. But let's bring it to the comments, and then we will talk about Manchester United. So we got George in the comments. Good evening, guys. Looking forward to making AFTV look super delusional again. Not sure what AFTV is. I've got Robert. Evening. Really need this win. Hopefully to kick off a run. Absolutely, Rob. And fingers crossed. Got Ian in the comments. How you going, boys? At work, so watching on the phone. Mate, don't get busted. Get in trouble there. We got Sam in the comments. Evening, gents. I tell you, I will love it if we beat them. Love it. Where have I heard that before? Something, Keegan, about some irrelevant time. Oh, can we seriously talk about Newcastle? I'm just... Tom, I love Newcastle, seriously. They're going down, right?
I was devastated Norwich didn't go on and get a winner, which they really should have against 10 men. They really should have sort of got more out of the game, because it was an early red card for Newcastle. But I do look at Newcastle now, and even the upcoming fixtures they've got. I think their next game, though, is at home to Burnley. I think if they don't beat Burnley at home, they're down. Now, obviously, that's a big statement of the long season ahead. But I'm so passionate about United going forward and getting to the top four, winning a trophy. I'm maybe equally as driven and passionate as seeing Newcastle go down. Like Kevin Keegan, I would love it.
Absolutely. I think I want to say there's 6 games between now and the January transfer window opening. No, I'm saying that there's 6 games between now and January transfer window. And I'm just wondering, like, if the owners are thinking they can throw money at this problem, I think they'll be too far gone.
Yeah, that's the big issue they do face, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We got Jamie Morningal. Jamie, is he from UK or Ireland?
He's from Ireland.
Ireland, good man. Ireland, good country, Ireland. I wouldn't mind an Irish coffee, actually. You had an Irish coffee before, Tom?
Nope, not for me.
Jesus
Christ. It's always that person at the bar. They get up to the bar, everyone just order a beer. There's that one person who gets up with a credit card and I'll have 2 cocktails, this and that, and then no. I refuse to order stuff like that.
Aren't you meant to be Irish?
Doesn't mean I'm ordering an Irish coffee.
Oh, piss poor. Any issues with the live? No, George, that was just me. And then we've just got some more dissing me in the comments. That's fine. We got Ian again. Let's get a good win for Ralf. Yeah, and I really want to start ripping into this one with you, Tom. So talk to me. Is this going to be Michael Carrick's Manchester United, or is this going to be Ralf Rangnick's Manchester United?
It's hard. I asked you this question last week before the Chelsea match, and you were saying no, Rangnick's sort of got enough sort of professionalism and courtesy about him not to interfere with Carrick's team selection against Chelsea. Now, that description has now changed because obviously he's the official manager and he is in England. Now, I'm not sure if he's at Carrington. I don't think that is the case. I think that is technically still part of working. So I don't think he's going to be attending training, but there's no doubt going to be phone calls taking place. Now, Carrick's not going to be implementing the training session that Ralf wants, but the team selection will be fascinating. And there is that argument to say, well, if Ralph's not going to be there, maybe he does have the professional courtesy or the respect not to interfere too much. But I think even Carrick would be going to him and say, okay, look, we've got Crystal Palace on Sunday, which will be in the dugout for. Well, what do you think of the Crystal Palace? That's going to affect what we're going to do Thursday against Arsenal. So I think he will have an impact in it. Whether it's going to be his team selection type thing, I'm not quite sure. And we'll never know unless Carrick comes out and says something. But it'll be fascinating. I think he'll have an impact. Won't be a major one. Obviously, there'll be no training ground sort of impact. But in terms of the team selection, I think there'll be a slight twist on it.
You don't think that we'll see United come out with maybe not what you'd call your traditional gegenpress, but you don't think they'll look to play a higher line or look to be pressing from the front?
There might be a spring in the step in regards to that new manager bounce, and it's a different new manager bounce to when Ollie came in for Jose, for when Ralph's coming in for Ollie. It's a different situation, but it's not so much we'll bounce him back from Jose. Everyone didn't want to play for Jose. Players wanted to play for Solskjaer, so there's a different bounce. I think this bounce will be more trying to impress Ralph because they know if they don't perform, they'll be on the bench. Where if they didn't perform under Ollie, well, some of them still played the next week. So I think that is why I don't think it'll be along the lines of they're trying to implement this new press. I just think there'll be a spring in the step and we'll be playing on the front foot in terms of trying to impress the new manager.
Indeed. Well, talk to me. What is your Manchester United starting 11? Do you expect any sort of changes? And is this where, I mean, if we're not going to see tactically exactly what the German would like to see out of this side, do you think we'll at least see a starting 11 with his influence?
Yeah, I think so. As I said, it'll be fascinating to see if he is going to take the Crystal Palace match, and that's 100% his team. It'll be interesting to see because he can't just play the same team 2 games in a row in a couple of days. There will be rotation. So how much rotation is down to forced rotation or trying a different idea, etc. So look, a lot of people won't like it, yourself included. Harry Maguire comes back in for me. I'll be starting at Alex Telles again. I think Telles has done enough to keep his spot over Luke Shaw at the moment.
I thought it was awful against Chelsea.
You think Luke Shaw's been much better?
I think Luke Shaw is lazy at times, but I would say one-on-one defensively, Telles fills me with zilch confidence.
The reason I would allude to maybe Alex Telles, and obviously I like Alex Telles compared to Luke Shaw, not to say I don't like Luke Shaw, but in terms of the way they're performing, I think in regards to the evidence, the slim evidence that we do have of Ralph is one of his comments a couple of years ago talking about Luke Shaw not being good enough for Manchester United. So if I'm saying Ralph has some type of impact in this team selection, I think if he's going to favour a left back, he would maybe favour Alex Telles.
Interesting. I agree with you. The thing that worries me, and I know they played together against Villarreal, I have this concern where Harry Maguire is out of form, Alex Telles isn't strong defensively. Is it almost too risky for Manchester United playing against an Arsenal side who will look to play on the front foot, who will look to counter against us? You'd think we have the ascendancy playing at home. I just wonder, is that too much fragility in the defensive line, considering we have the 18th worst defense in the league? And I think that's worth remembering. This United side is conceding a shitload of goals. I'm just wondering if Telles Maguire might just be a little bit too leaky for an Arsenal side.
I think our most leakiest performances come from Maguire and Shaw, though. And that's not to criticise them individually. It's just the way those individuals have performed together. Have we seen Maguire and Telles this season? I don't think we have.
Granted. Do we know the status on Rafael Varane? Is he fit? Is he training? Is he still in England?
I think he's scheduled to come back around now. So you'd assume within a week or so we'll see training photos. I'm hoping at least.
Okay, so you're going Maguire, Lindelof in the defence, I'm assuming. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, status quo.
Yeah, no, look, Wan-Bissaka, it'll be fascinating. A lot of people are throwing predicted 11s out, sort of Ralph's ideal 11 with Diogo Dalot. I understand the thinking, but for me, Wan-Bissaka, we have to win this game, and I think we've got a far better chance. And you talk about, okay, we've got the 18th worst defence in the league. I understand that, but I still back us to concede less goals with Wan-Bissaka than Diogo Dalot. I think Emil Smith-Rowe pops up a little bit on the left as well. Aubameyang drifts towards the left. I don't want to see Aubameyang or Smith-Rowe running towards Diogo Dalot. That's for sure.
Yeah, he does get caught a little bit flat-footed, does the Portuguese. Midfield, it continues to be the one where we debate what will the side look like. I know McFred, and I'm sick of, I'm going to move away from saying McFred. I think it's lazy.
You can't, it's burnt in our brain. It just comes out. Trust me. I tried to get rid of it. It always comes back.
Fred and McTominay, do you expect them to start in this football match?
I do, and sadly, a lot of people won't agree, and I share everyone's frustrations. Sadly, I think it's probably the right decision as well.
Interesting. Why is it the right decision? What is it about Arsenal that convinces you United need 2 defensive-minded midfielders on that pitch?
We can define them as defensive-minded. If one of them doesn't play defensively-minded, well, then we don't have 2 defensive-minded. We've got one sit-in and one like a McTominay bombing forward, or Fred pressing high like he did against Villarreal type thing. Suddenly, that's not a defensive-minded player. It's how they approach the game. And I would like on the front foot, with maybe a influence from Ralf Rangnick, let's hope so, that one of them is further advanced. And okay, they might have that starting position of sitting in front of the back four, but I think both performed very well against Chelsea during the week. I know McTominay didn't get into our 3-2-1s, and I know a lot of people sort of slated McTominay, look, which they always do, and so they're entitled to. However, he got the official man of the match. So other people, and look, no one's opinion is better than others, but some people sort of saw something in his performance. Obviously, Michael Carrick saw something in his performance. And I think both performed well. And both, look, as I said, Nemanja Matic, Josh gave Nemanja Matic 3 points. So it might be harsh on him to be dropped, but we always have that debate with Matic. Well, can he play twice in a week? He's at his one game this week. So in my opinion, I would be going McTominay and Fred. I understand everyone sort of in the comments would be saying, what is he thinking about? But for me, it would be. And then the interesting one is then the 10 in front, because the 2 games we've had from Michael Carrick, he's made a big decision. First game was Bruno, second game was Ronaldo. Is he going to go along the same lines and make another big decision?
Interesting one. I think against Arsenal, so is it like, does Donny van de Beek come into your thinking at the moment? And what about the formation? We obviously saw the 4-2-2 against Chelsea. Do you think it'll be the same, or do you expect United to revert back to a 4-2-3-1?
I think it'll be 4-2-3, and I think I'm going to make you happy. I made you a little bit disappointed and sad that I included Harry Maguire back in the team. But what I will do for you, Larry, I have a feeling Anthony Martial will come in on the left-hand side. I think over Rashford, I think Martial will come in. And again, a lot of people won't like that. He's public enemy number one alongside Harry Maguire at the moment. I understand that. But I think, and look, a lot of people talk about Marcus Rashford running and sprinting. The facts are facts. Martial does a better shift on the left-hand side defensively than Marcus Rashford. He simply does. I know it might not look like it to the eye, but he does. He's far better position. He tracks back. And I think we're going to need that against Arsenal, because who's the new player they got in there, Tomiyasu, does like to get forward a little bit. And I think you're definitely going to need someone to track that, especially if you've got Luke Shaw out of form or a Tellez who's maybe not quite at the level yet.
Does Cristiano Ronaldo manage to get a start?
Be a brave man from Michael Carrick not to pick him again. Like, look, we're going to be having this discussion about Ronaldo pretty much every week under a Ralf Rangnick 11. Does he fit it? Does he not fit it? The fact is, Carrick's got one more game to sort of keep an undefeated record as Man United manager. He's playing Ronaldo. if the chance falls to someone, he's going to need someone to take it to keep this undefeated record. Ronaldo's playing.
Yeah, I think so there. And on the right, I think Jadon Sancho goes without saying. He is a man in form at the moment after a slow start.
It's almost first name on the team sheet now, especially with the new manager coming in. But I think he's been performing well. I think there's talk about him being a flop this season and not performing or not living up to the hype. I understand that argument at the start of the season. But if you look at every single performance, okay, the first performance might only be a 3 or 4 out of 10, but then it was a 5 out of 10, then it was a 6 out of 10, then a 7 out of 10. He's always improving. Now, obviously, he's going to have a dip in form later on in the season type thing, but forget the goals. They're fantastic. That's great for, one, the results, but also his confidence. But his performances are getting better, which is pleasing to see, because when we did sign him, when we signed Rafael Varane was going to come in and hit the ground running and be our best defender. When Ronaldo was signed, Ronaldo's going to come in and do what he does. We all made the argument when we signed Jadon Sancho that there'll be ups and downs. He'll be a little bit slow. He'll be off the pace at times. We're going to have to be a little bit patient with him, and that's what is proven to be the case with Jadon Sancho.
Yeah, can't disagree. He definitely has been positive, even prior to the 2 goals in 2 games. I agree with you. I think his trajectory has been going upward. But what do you guys think in the comments? Do you think United will line up with a 4-2-3-1? Do you think we'll go with the 4-2-2? Who do you think will start, or who do you think potentially might be left out? Get your comments in. I've got Emad here, Simpson and Osman in the middle. I think he's talking about the wrong football match. We will come to that at the end. Manchester United do have a game on Sunday behind closed doors, but we'll let you know where you can actually watch that game. We've got Wes saying, unfortunately, I think that was reference to the Fred and McTominay in midfield. And then we've got George, I think we'll play a diamond. Interesting, George. Look, it's possible. It's definitely possible. And I think it's interesting with United. In every formation we play, you leave out a big name, don't you? If you play a 2 up front, Sancho or Rashford or Ronaldo miss out. If you play 3 up top, Martial or Rashford, or again, someone can miss out. Ronaldo at times can still miss out. So
that's the thing at every club. Like when Chelsea play, do you remember how much you and I, the last 2 years, we've been calling for United to go and sign Saul Niguez from Atletico Madrid. Do you remember he plays for Chelsea?
Yeah, he doesn't play much though, does he?
Exactly. Like this happens at every club. City leave players out. They'll leave Mahrez out, or Sterling out, or Foden out, and Liverpool when they came to Old Trafford the other day and spanked us. Mane didn't play. Fabinho didn't play. There was one other defender didn't play. This happens around the grounds at every single club. But when Man United win a treble or winning a double in 08, players weren't playing. It happens. It's just unfortunately a story when Man United play. Other clubs are just, well, that's life. But with Man United, it's a crisis.
Yeah, it is interesting. I think it's a combination of, yes, it's Manchester United, but if you look at our attacking options, all those players are superstars in their own right, aren't they? You got Marcus Rashford, who's the unofficial prime minister of the UK. You've got Jadon Sancho, who just got signed for £75 million. And then you've got Cristiano Ronaldo, who is arguably one of, if not the greatest footballer of all time. So I think in any case, I can agree with the argument. Bruno Fernandes, the impact he's had over his time at United. And we got to say, Bruno, bloody hell, I thought that Chelsea performance, Tom, I said against Villarreal, one of his better performances of the season. Can I say against Chelsea, with the captaincy on his arm, I thought it was atrocious, Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, and look, not a captaincy debate. I've made my feelings clear, and you pretty much somewhat agree as well in regards to Bruno Fernandes as captain. It's not an issue of that. Just like you say, his performance on the ball, I thought it's what you get from Bruno. Now, hopefully, in terms of continuing a Bruno Fernandes trend, he'll now go back to a world-class performance and hit a hat-trick against Arsenal. It's very much what he'll do. But to get that hat-trick, the price you're going to have to pay is the performance against Chelsea.
A bit of a dry spell for Bruno Fernandes. Hasn't scored since Ronaldo's return game against Newcastle. Any thought into that?
Jeez. I haven't thought about that. Surely he scored between that. Surely.
He has not. That was the last goal he scored for Manchester United. Newcastle 4-1.
It's a cracking goal, though.
Yeah, belting goal, but it doesn't excuse it too much.
No, I think Bruno's been fine. Like, I understand when he can hit a 10 out of 10 performance, but then also can hit a 2 out of 10 performance. And those 2 out of 10 performance sort of need to be called out when they are there. But for those moments that he does give us, yeah, you do need to sort of accept those and sort of just take him on the chin. Like, he is what he is. He's going to be frustrating, but he's also going to be the one man who can pull you out of the danger.
Is Bruno not scoring down to form, or do you think that's actually a tactical change? Well, you can argue whether Solskjaer has been extremely tactical or not this season, but do you think that might actually be a little bit of playing with United's setup? Maybe it's a fact of Bruno did play quite high. We said against Leeds and so forth, almost like a second striker. Maybe with Ronaldo there, do you think he's just been pulled back a little bit?
Ronaldo's definitely impacted, and I wouldn't say Ronaldo's impacted him negatively. Just in terms of area on the pitch, I know if it was Martial or Greenwood or Rashford up front type thing, Bruno Fernandes would feel that urge to go and help up front in terms of attack, and obviously he does it defensively for all the wrong reasons, but attacking, he sort of get past that last man. You look at who was the first goal, his hat-trick goal, against Leeds. Obviously Ronaldo wasn't there, but he gets him behind for the Lindelof to play that ball over the top, and he's doing that. But now that Ronaldo's there in the focal point, Ronaldo doesn't need that help, or Ronaldo doesn't want that support. So Bruno is changing his game. And look, I think, as you say, okay, his performance against Chelsea was bad, but as you saw against Villarreal, what he can bring when he does play well, he's a fantastic player. So it's one of those ones, and it's a new role for him. Maybe not a new role, but a new style of playing type thing, and a new sort of set of eyes for him. And obviously it'll change again in terms of Ralf Rangnick. Some people are saying he'll flourish under Rangnick. Some players will say he'll be first name on the bench. So it'll be interesting how it plays out. But I think Bruno is what he is. He's fantastic and frustrating, and it's what he is. I just look at him and think, where would be without him? So from the day he arrived, we wouldn't be in the position we're in. And obviously we're in a bad position at the moment, but it would be a hell of a lot worse without Bruno Fernandes.
If United didn't sign Bruno Fernandes, Solskjaer would have been sacked 2 seasons ago. Tell you that much.
Well, he would have been sacked the day after. It was that Burnley game, I remember, at Old Trafford where we lost to Burnley. Yeah. He signed the next day, I think, and Solskjaer was very close to being sacked that week.
Oh, all right. I'm going to bring it back to the comments, and I will get your score prediction. But Tom, there has been a few things around Manchester United that I haven't had the opportunity to discuss with you. So I do want to talk to you about the Carrick-Keane spit, because we haven't had an opportunity to discuss it, and it was just bloody hilarious. And I'd have to talk about Newcastle, so bear with me, and I hope you don't mind sticking around for a little bit. But we got Sam. We were never on the ball against Chelsea. I'm assuming you mean Bruno here. He never had the chance to play those final balls. Agreed, in a rough patch, but he's meant. No one's debating that, Sam. Bruno Fernandes is bloody brilliant. Tom's pro on Pro Clubs, actually. His name is Bald Bruno, so there you go. I got Rob in the comments, pretty sure he's not in the country. I think you're talking about Ralf. Good old Ralphie there. Every time I hear the name
He's
Ralph,
reported to be in Manchester now. He's staying in Manchester. The Evening News
yeah.
confirmed that. But yeah, in terms of actually working, well, who knows? That's confirmed, but they're saying he is. He just can't actually attend work because he doesn't have the work permit.
I hate that his name's Ralph. I picture look. I'm a big Simpsons fan, not Tom Simpson, like the Simpsons fan. And I hear the name Ralph, and I just picture Rennick digging into his nose, and yeah, I
He's
don't
not.
know.
Is the other German, Joachim Low?
Oh, the one. Oh yeah.
Actually picks his nose.
Who is the
Yeah, the
German that
German.
picks his nose?
Yeah, the German
Oh,
manager.
German manager.
Yeah,
I can't
Joachim
ever
Low.
say his first name. Is it Joachim? Joachim Low?
I call him Joachim or Joachim, but you're thinking of Ralph Wiggum. But yeah,
Yeah,
the
Ralph
German
Wiggum.
manager, Joachim Low.
Yeah, Ralph Wiggum's my hero, to be honest. All right, hold on. This is gonna. What on earth is this comment? Bruno isn't that good.
Bring up Ahmad's comment saying he's starting in midfield on Sunday as well and tell him that he can be back on the bench.
Yeah. All right, hold on. Let me find this. Ahmad, sorry, but you've earned humiliation here. Simpson and Osman in the middle. I think it'll be Simpson in the middle, Osman on the bench.
Next to
Where he
Taylor.
belongs. Yeah, seriously, man. Get out of here. I've got Ian. I'd play 4-3-3. Matic, Fred, Donny. Drop Bruno and Tony on left. You know what? I would start Bruno Fernandes, but I don't think that's outrageous. But like you said, Tom, I just think Matic twice in the space of 4 days. I think you're asking a bit much.
Well, few people have alluded to Martial as well, so it'll be interesting that left-hand side.
I like Martial. I'm telling you, you play him on the. I know he obviously backed himself to be a striker. I think we all agree he just isn't a number 9. But you put him on that wide left spot. I think he's brilliant. I really do, and I think he is one who might really, really benefit under the tutelage under Ralf Rangnick. I really do, because technically he's everything he'd want, and if he can just put that work rate behind him and a bit of consistency, who knows? Got Imad again. One moment. If that lately every 90 minutes isn't good. What on earth are you talking about?
I think it's one of those ones.
Like
if we're keeping clean sheets, and that one moment results in a goal that wins the match, well, it is enough. But unfortunately, because we're leaking goals like a sieve, those one moments aren't provided enough for us.
Oh dear. I'm looking forward to a Pro Club. Pro Club hit me up PS4. You got to get on PS5 if you want to join us, Sam. We're on the next gen. I'm just gonna ignore Emad's comments going here. He can go put a wicked bomb up there. All right, I'm just gonna ignore you, mate. And we've got back at Ian. I love Bruno, but he is off it at the moment. Look, can't disagree. All right, Tom, tell me, how much are United winning by in this one? Do you think United will win?
Yeah, look, it's hard. We always go into some games with this almost false optimism at times. But I do feel, and I don't think it'll be a manager bounce like when Solskjaer came in, but there will be a bounce and there'll be a spring in the step. And I am confident. I'm not convinced with Arsenal. I know they're in good form and fair play to them, and obviously you do have to respect them. But I do think with the crowd will be up for it. Night game under the lights against Arsenal, there'll be a cracking atmosphere. It'll obviously be the Solskjaer surfer banner before the game, so there'll obviously be a really good atmosphere to start the game. And I am confident. I think we can get an early goal. It's a new manager bounce type thing, and I think we can run away with it. I would say 3-0, but considering our defence, I'll go 3-1.
Ooh. Who do you think will be United's man of the match? Give me an early prediction for 3 points.
Sounds stupid. I do like McTominay in these big games. I do like him in these big games. But what I would say, Ronaldo was sitting on 799 career goals. It's set up for an 800th goal for Ronaldo, and if he scores, we're very likely talking him man of the match. But I do like McTominay in these big games. A lot of people don't, and I understand that. But he obviously has scored a bomb against Arsenal in the past at Old Trafford under the lights. So let's hope he can do the same.
I'm going to go 2-0 United. I think we'll keep a clean sheet.
With Maguire and Shaw.
Yeah, why not? You know what? Luke Shaw plays phenomenal when he's got a bit of pressure on. And I think he was brilliant last season. Look, his form this season, who knows? It could be a Euro hangover. It could be he just simply didn't feel challenged because it was clear that Tellez wasn't favoured. And I just think that with a new manager now imminently coming in, he's got to kick up the arse again. So I think you'll see the best of Luke Shaw.
I think, look, when he was playing well, he was no hiding from the fact he was the best left back in Europe. He was fantastic. But yeah, as we've seen, it was a big purple patch of form. he's back to the unfortunate Luke Shaw that we sort of all feared we did have. And Jose Mourinho was kind of maybe correct in saying.
Maybe. I think we will leave the Arsenal preview there, but like I said, there is another Manchester United game happening on Sunday. And also I will put it out there. So for the supporters club, the Manchester United supporters club of Sydney, we will be at Scruffy Murphy's. It's a 7 a.m. kickoff. Do I have that right?
7:15, so a little bit better. I don't know why.
7:15.
I don't think we've ever had a 7:15 kickoff before, but yeah, Scruffy Murphy's Friday morning. If anyone works in and around the city or has the morning off, etc., be great to come down. Obviously, there's not going to be a massive crowd because it's not the ideal. It's not a Saturday night kickoff type thing. But if you are in and around the city or do have the morning off, just send us a message and let us know if you want to come down. We'll reserve a spot for you. But yeah, it'd be good to get back in the pub. Obviously, we won't be drinking like usually in the pub. Might be on an orange juice or something. But
Irish coffee, I'm telling you.
No, but definitely looking forward to, as I said, in the last couple of games, obviously we all went out a couple of weeks ago for the City match, unfortunately. But sometimes it's not just about the football. Sometimes it's just about sort of watching the match with your mates, and that's what it'll be about. Fingers crossed, this new era does start with 3 points.
And then if Manchester United, if you just want some more Manchester United in your life, on Sunday, Tom will be the masterclass in midfield. He'll be putting his hands up to Ralf Rangnick to be signed on a free transfer from Australia, the first player since Mark Bosnich to sign for Manchester United. Tom, give us the lowdown. It's at 5 Sports. What time's kickoff? I actually have no idea. Please.
2 p.m. kickoff, which is kind of good. Usually when we make these kickoffs, no matter if it's in the middle of winter or middle of the summer, we always get the hottest day of the year. But the weather in Sydney hasn't been too bad football-wise this week. So hopefully the 2 p.m. kickoff isn't too hot. But 2 p.m. at 5 Sports Carrick in Sydney on Sunday. So raising money for the New South Wales and ACT Food Bank. The link is in the description below. If you can spare a few bucks instead of having a beer on the weekend or something, that $5 over a beer. Because every dollar donated, the food bank can provide $6 worth of food for those people in need over Christmas. So it definitely is a good cause. But they are cracking games. We get out there and you obviously put the Man United shirt on type thing. And it's the closest we get, Larry and I, to obviously representing Man United. So these games, they always start off as charity games, a little bit of laugh, a little bit of good-natured fun. Suddenly, obviously we're playing Watford this time, but the times we've played Liverpool, City, Chelsea, etc., it starts off as handshakes, and then one tackle goes in, and you've got that badge on your chest. Tackles start flying in, and I'm waiting to see Larry's. I don't know what we're going to get from left back. We're going to get Luke Shaw performance or a Patrice Evra performance.
Look, I've got the ass of Luke Shaw at the moment, but I will put a shift in, Tom. I can assure you of that. I am 3 days into this diet. So I'll tell you, if you follow this podcast or you watch our content, I promise you watch me at the end of January, my face will be merged right in. You'll need to zoom in to see me. That's how slim I'll be. Oh, look, I can't surely end this video without coming to this beautiful comment from your wonderful mother, Tom. Prediction is Tom to score 2 goals on Sunday against Lee Watford.
Only 2 goals. I scored 3 against Liverpool.
Yeah. We don't know much against this Watford side. They could be brilliant. So who knows?
That's the thing. The hardest game we have had was the last game against Sunderland. We took a late winner. Fergal, our striker, obviously works at Scruffy Murphy's. And I remember the supporters club, he scored a late winner, the 88th, 89th minute winner. Chelsea, City and Liverpool were quite comfortable games. But yes, Watford might be brilliant. Who knows? We might actually get our first loss. Fingers crossed we don't. But yeah, it will be a good game, obviously. Yeah,
looking forward to it. So if you are in Sydney, please come down. Me and Tom will obviously be there. If we haven't met you, we'd love to meet you. So yeah, do come down. It is all for a good cause. It is in the name of charity. But look, I am playing left back. I am carrying a little bit of timber. So if my leg goes out and someone does their leg, sorry, not sorry. Tom, pleasure as always. I'll catch you Sunday. And obviously we'll definitely look to do a preview on Friday, looking at United's 3 points against Arsenal.
No, definitely look forward to it, as always, mate.
Pleasure. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure if you're not subscribed to subscribe. Stay tuned in, and we'll catch you Friday. Cheers.